Mandatory minicamp going on this week for the Cardinals, and joining us here at the broadcast location, Zaven Collins, now a 5-year veteran. Can you believe it? 5 years in, Zaven. How you doing, man?
Good. Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, I was telling somebody the other day I've played like almost 70 games.
That's a lot of football.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's interesting is there was a time when you were drafted that the former GM thought you and Isaiah Simmons would be the cornerstones of this defense, and you're the guy here, not him, and you've been so available. You've been very dependable. What ceiling is left for you? How much better are you going to get?
I wouldn't say I'd put myself over one just because I'm still here. I think everyone's still, great players that are here. Maybe they just had certain circumstances or defense they didn't fall into. And then I'm not saying that you put it that way, but like for me, I feel like, ever since the position change, there's been a lot of growth for me. There's been a lot of growth in pass coverage in the way we're dropping and what they asked me to do. There's a lot of growth in my pass rushing ability. And I've been taking some really good steps, I think, not something that I'm going to sit here and be like all this stuff. But for me, it was like just do little things every single day to get better and better and better every day. 1% every day. And just having that more vet mindset, and then listen to the younger guys. What are they bringing in? What do they have to the table? Listen to other guys. Listen to Sweat, Calais. We were talking the other day in the team meeting. He's telling me all these things during practice that I've done wrong, and I was like, man, I haven't really thought of that in a while. You know what I mean? It sounded like when I was a rookie again. So it was like, it was really good. Obviously, the things I mess up on now are not as big as infractions as I was when I was a rookie.
Right.
But just still see a lot of growth. That's what this game is about. It's chasing perfection, and that's the funny part too is we chase it and know it's kind of insanity because we know it's not attainable, but we'll chase it anyways.
Right, exactly.
That is funny.
That's what you do.
No,
Yeah.
You talked about the position change kind of leading to where you are now and being more comfortable, being more productive. But take us back through that process, because you were a guy that was moved around a lot on defense, it seemed like, from year to year, even sometimes from week to week. How difficult was that for you to make that transition?
Yeah, so doing that, it wasn't about what the job was asked to. It was like more of being in a different role. Sometimes there's carryover between off ball and on the ball. You're just doing it from a different position. For me, it was like having the field cut in half, and then like it was we call it like a focus window thing. So for me, I was still taking in way too much information, looking at too much stuff when I didn't need to. It was all about just zoning in on one thing. And I've done a better job of that. So it's helped me play faster. It's helped me, understand certain calls. Like, you don't have to worry about any of these things. You don't have to worry about what this guy's doing or where this guy's. It's just pin your ears back and go. So it's been really nice.
So one of the things that's been really cool to me over the offseason is some of your teammates have had events, softball games, celebrity basketball games, a little bowling event, and there seems to be a real good turnout of guys supporting one another. You've been here 5 years. You know what good chemistry looks like in a football locker room. Does this feel like elite chemistry brewing here?
Yeah, it does, because in elite chemistry, I can confront one of the guys about something, not being hostile, not being degrading as a man or as a player, but just, wanting to get better as a professional athlete and then as a teammate on a professional team. And also, we're all good friends too, because it's past that now, because we've been together for a long time. We can have a sense of accountability where guys are not feeling threatened. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's been really good for us, and I haven't felt that in a long time. But it's actually very positive, and it's hard to see in a locker room unless you're in it. But it's something that's very positive, and it's something that builds the team in the right direction. It has practices where they're really good practices, which leads to games and situations where everything is executing, and that's a huge carryover because you have to practice it and practice it.
Yep. Zaven Collins, our guest here on Bickley Marotta Mornings. There's a core of guys that have been here for a while, like yourselves, on this defense, but the commitment to improve the defense through free agency, what Monty Austin-Fort and his staff did during the draft, just how excited are you to be a part of this bulked up defense going in, and tell us about some of your new teammates that you're kind of clicking with at this point.
Yeah, so obviously you have some really good vets on the team. Dalvin and then Calais. You have Josh. We were sitting there the other day, and we're just going through film, and the coaches are just kind of asking what people think, and when he speaks, you understand like his level. Like you can really understand someone's knowledge of the game pretty quick and what they do.
Yeah.
And especially in a professional setting. And he was like, I was like, man, he said something I didn't even think about, And it was just like talking about Josh Sweat, and
right.
It was like it was a pass rush situation, and he was really in tune. And it's not him or me rushing. It was one of the younger guys, and it was one of those things where you're like, wow, even as a professional athlete, he's like, he looks at it from a different way, a different perspective. So yeah, that's it's really cool to meet all the new teammates. There's a lot of good rookies, and I think the biggest thing too, everyone there is, everyone in the NFL is a great athlete. Everyone is, it's about kind of unlocking their capabilities, including me. But like we have really good guys on this team too, so that's what makes it a lot easier.
You've got a young guy, a young buck in Walter Nolen, who's been described as boom or bust, and you've got a veteran like you. You've got Calais, who's been around forever. How do you guys effort to grow him in the right way, or do you let him play and learn and then help him get on track?
I think you just let him, like for a rookie, I think especially with him, just let him go, pin his ears back, let him go. Little mistakes those are correctable. They're going to happen. There's no doubt. I mean, even guys that play, been playing for 10 years make mistakes. They make false steps. They do certain things. They go the wrong direction. I've seen it all. But that's the beauty about football. You got 10 other guys on the field to help you out, whenever you mess up. But yeah, for him, I think, understand it. He's got to know some stuff, but, is he going to know the level of the game as Calais is in week one? No, he's not. So I think just having him ready to pin his ears back and let him go for week one is the biggest thing. Same thing with D-Rob. That's what I tell him all the time.
Yeah.
We don't need to think here. I've been in that situation where I want to think, and I'm telling you right now, I don't want to think here. I want to just go.
Makes sense.
Elaborating on Darius Robinson, you mentioned him at the end there. He had a tough rookie season for a number of reasons, both on the field with the injury, some of the things in his personal life. What have you seen different and how he's embracing this challenge of year two and living up to that potential?
Yeah, I think he feels better in his body. You know what I mean? Talking about being in a professional setting, you can tell when guys are going through stuff they don't really feel comfortable yet, and they're trying to force things. I told him, he's like, last year's like, if it's not meant to be right now, it's not meant to be. It's something that we got to work through and get better at. And then plus, it gives you a year to understand how the process of being an NFL football player works. It's kind of like being redshirted in college,
right.
I guess.
Yeah.
It's not what you want, but I told him that's kind of like what it's like. Letting it. He really learned a lot of stuff, and I can tell because when we have meetings, we talk about certain things. He'll ask certain questions where you can see his knowledge of the game growing. But yeah, he's physical specimen.
Yeah.
He's massive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you saying that means something.
Yeah, I'm
exactly.
6'5", 270.
Right, exactly.
You're calling him massive.
Now, there is no radio show in the country that quotes Caddyshack more than we do. Do you notice his hat, Vinny? What it says on his hat? Thank you very little.
Thank you very little.
Right out of Caddyshack. So Zaven's a big-time golfer. I can only imagine when you get into a drive, when you find the slot and you rotate, what are you doing off the tee?
If I'm feeling hot off the tee, there's definitely ups and downs. There's definitely days where that driver does not come out of my bag. I'm using iron only.
Really?
And I can use a 4 iron or 5 iron. Yeah. When I get a hold of one, it's pretty good. Yeah.
Probably 315, probably.
Yeah, 315. I'd say.
I figured.
Not all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Well, look at the size of him, dude.
I'll tell you who's actually surprisingly can bomb the ball, and I don't know how, but Clayton Toon.
Really?
He'll pass me by 20 yards.
Isn't it amazing
It
the
is
power
absolutely
some people
crazy.
can generate on a golf course?
Yeah, I've played with some like baseball guys too that aren't the best athletes, but they have that baseball background in their core and rotational strength.
Yeah.
And it's and I'm just like, oh my gosh! I just saw the ball jump off the tee.
Yeah.
It tried to get out of the way of the club.
I hate people like that.
Zaven Collins with us. Last thing, Zaven, you're Oklahoma through and through. Are you ecstatic over what the Thunder are doing? Are you a Thunder fan?
Yeah, I am a Thunder fan.
I thought you come in here wearing an SGA jersey.
I'm not. I wasn't like super huge because I guess growing up in a small town, you're always bouncing around, moving from sport to sport to sport to sport. But once we got into college, we kind of got into it a little bit more. And obviously, looking back, you see all the great players that have played at OKC, which I know basketball's different. It rotates a lot. But still, and just talking about in the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma, even the biggest cities are in the middle of nowhere. So, but yeah, it's awesome seeing them. I hope they, close them out this week.
Yeah, that's a rough basketball team. I wouldn't want to try to score on them. They play some defense.
Well, you're great, my man. Great personality. You go have yourself a rock and roll kind of season.
I appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Zaven. Zaven Collins joining us here.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.